Welcome back in app for you. So today basically I'll be discussing a very basic problem on recursion, that is how do we compute the factorial of any number using recursion and the corresponding code for it. Okay, so we know that in recursion the basic idea is a function will call itself. Okay, if you define the function you will find that somewhere within the function is called again, right? Basically recursion uses stack as a data structure, right? So it is obvious that every time when the recursive function operates, whenever the function is called, it gets a position on the stack. So it becomes imperative to have a base condition which will decide when the recursion will stop. Say for very basic example, we have to find the factorial of a number, right? If we have to compute the factorial of a number, suppose n is equal to 5, right? So we know that the 5 factorial is basically nothing but 5 into 4 factorial, which can then be expressed as 5 into 4 into 3 factorial, which is nothing but 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 factorial, which is nothing but 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 factorial, right? And we also know that 1 factorial is equal to 1 and 0 factorial is also equal to 1. So this is the base condition or the terminating condition, right? This will help to prevent the stack overflow, because at this point we want our problem to converge, right? So that particular condition is the base condition. So how do we code this entire scenario, right? We have to define a function factorial that will compute the factorial of a number, right? And at the same time we are going to use recursion for this, and since we are going to use recursion, it becomes imperative to define a base condition. So base condition for this particular problem will be 1 factorial will be 1 and 0 factorial will be 1. Let us quickly define our function. The header files have been defined here. Okay, so now we are basically defining the function integer fact. This is the name of my function that will compute the factorial of a number. The return type is integer because it is definitely going to return some integers. You can clearly see here it is going to return some integer values, and hence the function is declared as integer type. Receiving a parameter n, okay, it is going to receive a value of n and then it will compute the corresponding value. How does it operate? So basically the execution will start from main, right? And you will be asked to enter a number. Suppose I entered n equal to 5. Once I entered n equal to 5, at this point the control basically moves to this point. Why? Because here we are doing a call. What call? We are calling the function fact of n. Getting the point? We are calling the function fact of n. So n will be passed here, because let me erase this. Alright, so I received n as 5, so fact of 5, the function is defined here, right? So we will enter the loop. If n is equal to 0, we will enter the code block. If n is 0 or 1, this is the base condition, isn't it? We defined that if n is 1 or 0, we will return 1. But if n is neither 0 nor 1, then what will we do is we will divide it into a subproblem. What? Because we know that what we are doing, 5 factorial can be computed as 5 into 4 factorial, right? So the number 5n here into factorial of the number less than it, 4 factorial, here it comes. Getting the point? So basically we asked them to compute factorial of 5. What did it do? It will return 5 into fact of 4. Getting the point? Now again here is a call to the function, right? They have called the function here again. Alright, so they have called the function fact4 again. So again the control will come in and it will see that whether n is 0 or 1. No, n is neither 0 nor 1, but n is 4, right? So it will go to the else part, and again it will return n into fact n minus 1, which means it will return 4 into factorial 3. Again fact 3, again there is a call to the function fact. 3 is being passed this time. Now 3 is neither 0 nor 1. This condition is false. Moves to the else part, and again it will compute. It will return 3 into fact 2, right? Again fact 2. 2 is being passed here. 2 is neither 0 nor 1. So this is again false. It will execute the else part and it will return 2 into fact of 1. Okay, this time n is 1, so again it is going to it is calling the function fact. This time n is 1. Now this time this condition is true, right? So we know that if n is equal to 1 or n is equal to 0, we will return 1. So you can simply see that this basically returns 1. Now what is the next step? We saw that finally it has stopped here, right? So now backtracking, it has returned 1. So 2 into this value is computed to be 1. So 2 into 1 is 2. So this now 2 is returned here. Getting the point? Now in factorial 2, value of factorial 2 is 2. 3 into 2 is equal to 6. So this function basically receives the value 6. Return 4 into 6. The value of 4 into 6 is 24. So the factorial 4 receives the value 24, means factorial 4 is computed to be 24. 5 into factorial 4 is nothing but 5 into 24, right, which is nothing but 120. So this returns 120. So factorial 5, the value of factorial 5 is found to be 120, right? Now the control comes back here because we have already computed the value of factorial 5, which is nothing but 120. So 120 will be printed in the output. So I hope you got the point how basically the recursion is working, right? Every time we are, first of all we passed value 5, then there was a recursive call again and we were returning 5 into factorial 4. This is the recursive call. Again 4 into factorial 3, right? Again 3 into factorial 2, 2 into factorial 1. This was the base condition. Here the base condition was met because n was 1 and we know that if n is 1 it will return 1. And so we started returning from here. Backtrack. So 2 into, now factorial 1 got the value 1. So 2 into factorial 1 was 2, which means factorial 2 got the value 2. Return 3 into 2 means 6. So factorial 3 got the value 6. Return 4 into 6, 24, means factorial 4 got the value 24. And return 5 into 24 is 120. So factorial 5 got the value 120. So 120 was printed at this particular point. So I hope you got the intuition behind this, how this factorial is basically working. The data structure that is being used here is a stack, you can clearly see. Okay. And in order to ensure that no memory issues take place, we have to define the base condition. And so this was basically our base condition. Alright. So this was our base condition. So let us quickly execute this particular problem and see how it is working. So here it goes. We are asked to enter a number. Okay, so suppose enter 5 and enter, it gives 120 as the output, and we know that the factorial 5 is 120. Even if we compute factorial 7 or suppose 6, it should be 720, and yes, we got 720 as the answer. So that's it. This is basic problem of finding the factorial of a number using recursion. So I hope you liked it. Thank you.